we put down him being young. So cool heads have to prevail. That's what it takes in a well-disciplined football team. I should know that because I have no cool head when I put my boots on. But yeah, I know that's what makes good teams great teams, and that's what we're aspiring for with this team.
Yeah. So again, 7:45 Wednesday. But for the Arsenal League Cup match, UK time 12:45 West Coast and 3:45 on the East Coast. So do your math, figure out where you live, and you'll know what time to be there watching the game. And try working on your excuses now for my liver hurts, I can't come into work today, or I need to leave at lunch, dental appointment, something. You guys got to watch the match. No, you don't miss a North London derby even on a Wednesday. We talked about City next week at the Lane, so let's kind of do predictions. This is two really big matches, obviously. Top of the league, Man City on the weekend, and obviously Arsenal on Wednesday. So I'll tell you what, you go first with the Wednesday match, and I'll go first with the Saturday match.
I think it's 1-0 against Arsenal.
Suck, because you totally just stole my answer. I tell you what, I'm going to go 2-0. Son is going to score again, as is Harry Kane. He is going to open his account, not so much in the league, but in England, against the scum. So a 1-0 and a cheeky 2-0. They're not scoring. Screw them. They don't get to play. Man City over the weekend. That is a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
But it is at home, and if we defeat Arsenal, we will have won 3 on the bounce against some pretty good competition. Sunderland not so much, but
4 games on the bounce.
4, yeah. Karabag, of course. And the form guide you were just telling me too is we're in 6th now. Now that we played 6 matches. So, oh man, what do I want to do here?
Well, City. I have no clue who City are playing in the Capital One Cup, but they are on back-to-back defeats. So
yeah, which means they're going to be mightily pissed off. Man, my gut's telling me a draw, but I'm going to say 2-1 to the good guys.
Well, they've, after years of dominance against a City team that have been complete rubbish until they fell into the laps of the Arabs and all their money, the tide slowly turned pretty much right after, I think, our famous double over Mancini's side the year we clinched the Champions League. And so that's a while ago, 5 years ago, and they've been coming to the Lane and gradually getting more and more points. I believe the tide was turning when it was that 0-0 match to open the season, when we just battered them senseless, and Joe Hart might as well just put on hockey gear because he was standing on his head. Following season, they did us 5-1. Then I think Bale's last season was when we did shock them with the 3-1, and then we've lost the last 2. Mm-hmm. So not a lot to scream and shout about in our home record in the last 5 matches or 6 matches. So for that reason, I'm going with a draw. And I'll go with 2-2.
Okay.
I shouldn't. No, you know what? I'm going to change that 1-1. We're not shipping a lot of goals. We're not scoring a lot of goals, and I think 1-1's on the cards for them.
Okay. I just took a quick look too. They actually get an extra day's rest on us as well because they play Tuesday.
Yeah.
Up at Sunderland, so they are on the road.
But they have 1 day less of rest between. Well, no, they don't because they played yesterday. I take that back. I'm a complete numpty.
Yeah. So now we're going to lose 5-0. Is that what you're saying?
No. One last thing to talk about on predictions, and I want to give a nod to our friend at Sky Sports, Paul Merson. He did really well in his predictions this week. I'm scrolling through and looking at the Tottenham Palace game, and he had Spurs to lose 3-1 at home. What a complete bell end.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that, Mercy.
Nothing shocks. Yes. Couple of listener questions that came in. First one from Nigel Saglani, Sam's favorite teenager. And you guys are going to love this question. He says, please try to remain unbiased, but is Dele Alli better now than Zinedine Zidane ever was? He hasn't headbutted any Italians in the chest yet.
better than Zidane. That guy was pony.
We should be erecting statues to the 19-year-old right now and give him the money that United paid for their teenager. Good question. We already talked about Ollie's question about what we were going to moan about. Ben.
Well, he said there was nothing to moan about.
Yeah.
So I've had my whinge.
We'll find something. Ben Foreman actually texted me a question.
Can I be on the show?
Can I be on the show? He did ask that because Sam was going to be out, but we weren't recording at night. We had to get it away because you got to get on an airplane. It's a good question though, and I want you to answer this first, and I'll let you know if I have any changes. When the squad is 100% fully healthy, who's our starting 11?
Well, that's a good question. How long we got?
We got, I don't know, 5 minutes. Go ahead.
You know, I saw Danny Rose of old. Again, I only saw the highlights, and what I saw didn't impress me. His chest pass back to Lloris was awful.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give him the edge at left back, and I'm going to stick with obviously Lloris, Vertonghen, Alderweireld, and Walker, although I think Trippier's one for the future. Then I'm going to go Dyer and Mason. I'm going to put Ericsson on the left because I think Son in the hole so far is looking like the finished article. I'm still not convinced what's going on the right. Is it Lamella? Is it Townsend? Again, too early with Clinton. So I'm gonna lump for Townsend based on what I've seen from him so far on the right, and obviously Harry up front.
All right, I'm gonna swap it around a little bit. Lloris obviously in goal, Walker, Alderweireld, and Vertonghen there, as well as I'm going to give the nod to Rose, and I'm giving it to him. I was really impressed the one time he did it over Bentaleb. I think he could really play left back if he really needed to, better, if not as well as anybody else, but I'm going to give it to Danny. I agree with you with Dyer and Mason. I'm going to put Ericsson in the hole and put Son out to the left. To the right, rather, and put Chadley on the left. I still think Chadley's had a little bit of struggles, but he is a natural goal scorer. He proved that last year. And when he's making the right move, he can play. Townsend and Lamella both on the bench. But I think Son in the Bundesliga came off of that left side, and I think he will do okay with that, even though he's right-footed, which gives him the opportunity to cross. So I'm going to go Chadley, Ericsson, Son, and then obviously Harry up front. So those would be mine. And
I'm going to change mine. I completely forgot Son played on the left in the Bundesliga, so if that's his natural position, he can go on the left and Ericsson in the hole, and then everyone's where they need to be.
Would you keep Townsend on the pitch over Chadley?
Yes.
Okay. That works. Yeah, that's not bad, man. That doesn't suck at all, if you ask me.
No.
We just got to get everybody healthy. We haven't had... we struggled last year and had no injury problems, really.
Yeah. Well, I think on both our 11s, they're the only one that's not healthy is Mason right now.
Yeah.
But again, we're a fickle bunch, us Spurs fans. Mm-hmm. We're basing this purely on what we've seen so far this season. Mason runs hot and cold, but, he was by far the best player on the pitch last week. Dyer, we were all scratching our heads in pre-season. What is this? This isn't going to work. We need a CDM. And he's making us eat our words. And you know what? I will happily eat all the humble pies you can bake.
Exactly.
Fire up that oven.
Fire it up. And listen, next week, a lot to talk about, obviously. We're going to have our reaction and post-match show for not only the League Cup against Arsenal, but the Man City match, which is on a Saturday. So we're going to get up early on Sunday. Looks like we are going to be recording with author and photographer and son of Spurs legend John White. Rob is going to be on with us. And Vas Connie. Vas is a friend of the show. We met Vas when we were over in London. He's written an article, a very nice article, for the fanzine from the Fighting Cock. And the stories that are going to be told by those two who have been doing this their entire lives is going to be outstanding. I would highly recommend finding time to give that hour and a half a good listen. I got a feeling it's going to be outstanding. So we're working on having them on next Sunday. So be looking forward to that.
Well, I'm hoping it'll be like the Lyle Thomas show where the three of us just shut the hell up and let them do all the talking.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's outstanding.
And since Sam didn't make it onto the show, hey, I'm the only ever present this season. What's up with that? Since Sam didn't make the show, start writing all your questions for him now, man.
Yeah, exactly. All right, buddy. Hey, listen, I know you got to get to Orlando for the week for work, so have a safe trip, safe travels.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You want to get me out of here?
Yeah, so I have to remember how this goes. So from me, I have no clue how it goes. It's something about being good to one another. You say that, don't you?
I do that.
Get in there, Kenny.
Good enough. And for the rest of you guys, until next week, be kind to one another, unless the other guy's wearing red.
And white, and they're wankers.
They are wankers.